What if the universe you see is just a bubble in a cosmic bathtub? Right now, while you're wondering if the Wi-Fi is slow or if the pizza will arrive on time, a human probe has been drifting away from our planet for almost half a century, and it still hasn't left our cosmic neighborhood. The shocking part isn't that. What's truly disturbing is that, according to some physicists, what we call universe might be just a tiny fraction, a microscopic spark in the middle of something we can't even begin to imagine. Welcome to Mind Blown Space, the only channel where we explain the cosmic abyss without you having to get a PhD in astrophysics. Subscribe if you don't want to miss the most absurdly real mysteries of the universe. Let's start with what we think we know. Our solar system, that bunch of planets named after Roman gods, is surrounded by a hypothetical frontier called the Oort Cloud. And I say hypothetical because nobody has seen it, yet everyone draws it as if they'd been there on vacation. It's believed to be a swarm of frozen comets, forming a kind of dome at such a ridiculous distance that it would take you 30,000 years to cross it at the speed of light. Yes, light, the same thing that powers your flashlight. But wait, this is just getting started. The famous Voyager 1 probe, launched in 1977, is on its way to that region. It carries a golden record with greetings in dozens of languages, just in case it bumps into cultured aliens with a phonograph. Despite traveling at over 60,000 kilometers per hour, it's still inside the solar system. With luck, it will leave the Oort Cloud in about 300 years. And when it finally crosses it, it'll need another 30,000 years to get through it completely. And what lies beyond? That's when astronomers shrug and tell you, we don't use astronomical units anymore, now we talk in light years. Because beyond the solar system, there's no possible human scale. Space stops being something you measure and becomes something that swallows you whole. And this is just the beginning. The Milky Way is immense, and yet, almost irrelevant. When they tell you that you are a special being, remember that you live on a speck of dust, spinning in one of the most forgotten corners of just any galaxy, the Milky Way. Sounds epic, right? Like something that should come out in a video game with laser swords and digital gods, but in reality, it's simply one of the 100 billion galaxies suspected to exist. The truly uncomfortable part is this. We're not even at the center of ours, not even close. We're in a peripheral zone, as if the universe had purposely placed us in the interstellar suburbs. The Milky Way has a diameter of about 100,000 light-years. That means if you turned on a flashlight at one end, the light would take 100,000 years to reach the other side. And that's only if it doesn't bump into a star, a black hole, or some civilization with a very bad temper. Inside it are between 200 and 400 billion stars. Does that sound like an exaggeration? Well, yes, it is. And no, nobody has counted them one by one. It's just an estimate, a very scientific one, of course. Now let's zoom out, because yes, there's still more. Our galaxy is part of a small galactic club called the Local Group. And here's the fun part. This group has more than 100 galaxies. Some are so small they're called dwarf galaxies. Others, like Andromeda, are so huge that they'll probably merge with ours in a few billion years. It will be a beautiful spectacle, for those who live 5 billion centuries from now, of course. This local group lies within the Virgo supercluster, which in turn is part of the Laniakea complex. And all of this is still an insignificance. Because if we keep zooming out, we reach the Pisces Cetus supercluster filament, a structure that measures over 1 billion light-years in length. And do you know what that represents within the observable universe? A line. A damn line. That's how ridiculous it is. Every time you get distressed about not finding your keys, remember this. You are spinning at 1,600 kilometers per hour on a rock, which in turn orbits a star in a galaxy that nobody outside of here knows about. And that makes you part of the most absurd and monumental mystery there is. The observable universe is a bad joke for our self-esteem. You thought we had already reached the limit, right? Well, no. The observable universe is just the playing field we can manage to see. It's the area where light has had enough time to reach us since all of this began with a big bang that, by the way, was neither an explosion nor silent. But let's focus on what we can see. The diameter of the observable universe is 93 billion light-years. Yes, 93 billion. But don't bother trying to imagine it. It's like trying to drink an ocean with a straw. Within this ridiculously large space, there are about 2 trillion galaxies. And no, that's not all either. Inside those galaxies, there are a quadrillion stars. That's a 1 followed by 24 zeros. More stars than you could count before retiring. More stars than grains of sand on all the beaches of Earth. But there's something even more irritating. Each of those stars could have several planets orbiting around it, meaning there are more worlds out there than excuses to skip the gym. But even with that level of cosmic nonsense, astronomers know all of this is only the observable part. Because beyond that, there are regions whose light signals haven't reached us yet. And here comes the dramatic twist. There are zones that never will. That's right. There are regions of the universe moving away from us faster than light can travel. They are literally slipping out of our cosmic radar. This unbreachable boundary is called the cosmological event horizon. And no, it has nothing to do with sci-fi movies or magic portals. It's the endpoint. Beyond that, no telescope, no matter how expensive or modern, will ever capture what's happening. The light from those regions will never reach us, because the universe expands at such a speed that even the speed of light can't keep up. Basically, the universe is running an infinite marathon while we're still tied to the couch with telescopes. And the most depressing part? Even if we lived forever, even if we became an immortal civilization, there are entire zones of the cosmos we would never know, places that will simply vanish into darkness forever. The real universe could be thousands of trillions of times bigger, and nobody told you. Imagine that everything you just saw, heard, or read about the universe is barely a spoonful of soup in a pot with no bottom. Because the observable part, what our best telescopes manage to capture, might only be the visible tip of a cosmic iceberg we absolutely don't understand. I'm not the one saying it, several very serious scientists who have been pulling their hair out in front of infinite blackboards for years are. According to the most conservative calculations, the real universe could be at least 250 times bigger than the observable universe, and that's already ridiculous. But if you want to step into the territory of elegant paranoia, there's a theory that claims it could be 100,000 trillion times larger. Yes, you read that right. 100,000 trillion. At this point, the number is so abstract that we could say the universe is the size of your existential anxiety on a Monday morning, and we'd still fall short. That theory is based on cosmic inflation, a process that happened right after the Big Bang, when the universe expanded faster than the speed of light. No, that's not a mistake. Faster than light. Because during that phase, the normal laws of physics decided to take a vacation. And what was the result? A universe so immensely large that the fragment we can observe is a trifle, a piece of gum stuck to the soul of the cosmos. And here comes the best part. According to this line of thought, there could be other universes, multiverses, infinite, even, each with its own physical laws, one where gravity works backwards, another where stars are floating cubes, and yes, possibly one where you actually finished that guitar course you started back in 2017. The only thing we know for sure is this: we know nothing. And the more we look, the bigger the enigma becomes. We live in a universe that doesn't even bother to make its rules understandable to us. It gives us clues, it leaves us theories, and then it laughs from a distance with black holes and cosmic structures that break all the calculations. But here we are, with telescopes, questions, and that strange feeling that we are not as important as we thought. Subscribe to Mind Blown Space to keep exploring the most absurd and magnificent mystery you will ever be part of. And remember, see you at the next cosmic leap.